Welcome to my live stream here on lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall, aka Slaggy. We're live. We're playing Blitz and Rapid chess against challengers here. Anything between 5+3 and 7+3 is okay as long as it's casual. Don't want you to take away my rating points, please. Mr. Coffee's here, Arsenal fan. What's up, buddy? It's a little bit cooler, Mr. Coffee. Still, I would prefer it was even cooler than that. I've got like heat rashes and stuff, but I'm good. I'm not sweating. I can actually do the stream in a shirt without stripping down to my underwear. Yesterday was horrible. It was absolutely horrendous. It did rain overnight, and we've got a little bit of rain today, so it's supposed to be kind of bad weather the next couple of days, but at least it won't be as brutal. Well, let's see. Last night it was funny. There was no forecast. In the night there was no forecast of a storm, and like a thunderstorm just like appeared like magically out of thin air right over my house. I'm looking at the weather app and it's like, oh, nothing. I'm like, this is not nothing. You know, this is real. Humidity just like created a vortex directly over my house. It started raining. It was on the radar. What's up, guys? Let's get some challenges. We can go and we can find some victims in the challenge area in the lobby. Create a game. Dragon B is challenging. All right, Dragon B. What's up, guys? Let's get started with Dragon B. Casual, I hope. I didn't even bother to check. All right, so trying to make my Aliakin's defense work. Arsenal fan is playing terribly. I wouldn't want it any other way. All right. I'm just kidding, man. It's good that you're critical of yourself, Arsenal fan. I think that'll help you to go a long way. But sometimes you take it too far. I'm probably more critical of myself than average. Never as happy with my accomplishments as I am disappointed with my failures, it seems like. Alright, here's what I typically do. I like to play d5 against knight c3. If ed, we get a Scandinavian line. Actually, it's an Aliakin Scandinavian hybrid. Most people play that. There's also e5, which is a little bit, I think, more complicated. But the players who like open positions tend to play ed more. Actually, if you like closed games, it's e5. Okay, so d3. This is just bad for white, I suppose. He loses his right to castle if I take, queen takes, king takes, d1. You know what? It may not be that bad for white, though. He can actually take with the knight as well. So that's interesting. My best bet is to probably transpose to a sort of e45 position. You can play d4. It's a kind of Verisov. I guess technically that's... Most opening books might suggest d4 is the best move. ed only equalizes. I could also play like pretty much anything. Knight c6, e5, pawn takes pawn. I don't really like pawn takes pawn. I guess the Grandmaster maybe I would play pawn takes pawn and draw, but what am I going to do on bishop g5 actually? But I guess I can play d4. Bishop g5, d4, knight d5. There could be an interesting queen sack there. Doubt it works. c6 for someone unsound. Danish gambit lover. Yeah, well, Arsenal fan, I think that's very typical for a late starter who's self-taught. Bill, thank you for the donation, 70 bits. I mean, I'd say, Arsenal, that your strength is in tactics, but yet you still make a lot of like major oversights. Attacking and tactics, I think, is your strongest point. Yeah, you still ironically are gonna make like major blunders and stuff. I would say the strategic side of your game probably you should focus on more. You really need to focus on both, though, like most people. I mean, it's not like you have You're not that one-sided stylistically. Okay, so it's a Philidor, exchange Philidor, colors reversed. Bill says evening. I say afternoon. I mean, basically, Arsafan, I fear you sometimes when you're attacking with dynamic position and tactics. Not quite as much in strategy and closed type games. So I feel like you need more work on the closed type games and strategy overall. At the same time, like, this is kind of repeating what I said, but trying to summarize it, you do have a tendency to make major or tactical oversights. So I guess what I would work on with calculation is making sure that you calculate all the possibilities. You know, you don't focus on just going as deep as you can, but making sure you don't overlook, you know, something width-wise in your calculation. Just candidate moves that just completely you space on, like a possibility altogether. Try not to miss any possibilities for both sides. Easier said than done. Okay, guys, I'm kind of using a lot of time here. You invented the time in Greenwich. 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 If I say it phonetically, Greenwich. Greenwich Village is all I know. You guys can challenge me to anything between 5+3 and 7+3. That's the range I play. Not a wide range, basically. But anything like 5-3, 5-5, 6-3, 6-5, 7+3. Anything within that range is cool. This is like an aggressive move, but I mean, kind of misguided, I think. He's avoiding exchanging pieces. I mean, he's playing with less space. Maybe it's justified here because he has the extra tempo. He's playing the exchange Philidor with an extra move. But I mean, playing moves like A3, does he really have time? Now C4, kind of classic Philidor idea, but is it good? B4 looks just bad. Too much weaknesses. But maybe I'm rushing to judgment. Alright, F5, knight C5 gives him a square for his knight. Then I have to take it. Something like E4. I'm not all that thrilled with this. Huh. So it's not that bad for white. Interesting. So just execute the plan, but this is interesting, Dragon B. This is not so bad. The increments between 3 and 5 seconds, and the time between 5 and 7 seconds. The 7-3 is really the longest that I do. I kind of regret it though. Sometimes the 7-3 games get a little bit too long. But we'll keep it as it is for now. You saw a funny comment in Ginger GM. Killer Dutch. It said G3 gives back a good game. I forget what we're talking about now with that Krejcik gambit. Okay, so Dragon B, I feel like you had to play knight C5 here to get enough dynamics. But at the same time, there's no refutation of what he's doing. I feel like it's in English. Oh man, what just happened? He could have played B5, and after knight D4, I have like knight takes E5. Question marks. Is that even working for me? Dempsey Hooligan. Just subscribe with Prime sub. Awesome. Thank you. New player. This is decent for white, man. Damn. That extra tempo really helped him. Not a bad weapon. He's been studying with his countrymen. Trying to think of the guy's name now who plays this from Serbia. There was one grandmaster. I can't remember now. Terrible with names. There was a GM. Sounds like a joke. There was a GM from Serbia who played this line with black a lot. I can never remember people's names when I need it. No, a younger one. I mean, he's probably like a little younger than me. Not a older grandmaster. It'll come to me eventually. Man, knight h5 is pretty good for white. What am I doing? Damn. What am I doing? Chia. Rook f5. Rook f5, Luke. Luke. Luke, you have rook f5. And Dragon B came prepared today. I'm just a little bit overextended, it feels like. I have 11 challenges suddenly. Whoa. Where'd you guys come from? Where did you guys come from? These challenges. Mule Skinner, Dmitry, Lapa, that's a new one. Bisonov, Paide, Tarke, Chess 960, Como Kid, Kenny, and Primary Disease. My god, dude. How do I have so many challenges? It's crazy. We'll be lucky if we get even that many games in for the whole stream. At this time, we're not doing 5+3 exclusively. The time control is between 5-3 and 7-3, guys, so we're booked. He dropped a piece. Anticlimactic end for Dragon B after really creative and interesting. Man, I think he was better. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to do very momentary analysis of the critical moment here. A5 was liked by the computer. I was wondering what happens if B5 here. Oh, I have knight C3. I had forgotten that. That was like just luck. So bishop B2, A B4, A B4, rook A1. I expected queen A1, adding more pressure down the diagonal. Here, 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 here. So this is like a critical position, and I played F4, which is just a blunder. And I tried rook F5, and he played bishop takes F4. I don't think I even realized I was like down a pawn here during the game. Bishop F7. Yeah. Just down a pawn. Dragon B tricked me. Good game. Alright, Mule Skinner's up next, guys. I am taking subscribers first. So Mule Skinner, it's not like Friday. Mule Skinner, Bisonov, Paide if he's still a subscriber. Just so you guys know, we do take subscribers first on Mondays. Fridays is different. And Wednesdays, if I was doing Wednesdays. Though I'm not right now for the next month or two. Till the end of August, I'm not going to do a Wednesday stream. I might restart. I'm going to definitely restart at some point in the fall, doing 6 days a week, but it depends on my schedule. All right, Senor Mule Skinner from Denmark, living in Spain. What's up? Are you in Spain now, Mule Skinner? Tough game yesterday in the simul. I'll tell you guys, not only was it hot yesterday, but those simuls are a lot for my brain. It's like, after I do a simul and I play all those games, it's difficult to kind of slow my thinking down and to kind of relax. I'm not like nervous, but it's hard to go to sleep somehow. My brain is like overly stimulated. So I always end up like thinking about the games a little bit after the simul, and Mule Skinner's game was a tough one. Do you find that after the classical games, not quite as bad? I mean, it seems to Like if it's one game, it doesn't seem to overstimulate my brain as much. It can be difficult, but not as bad as playing the multiple games seems to do something to me. I find it difficult to rest after that. All right, Catalan. Do you have to cancel your challenge each time and re-challenge? No. These challenges will just remain till I either take them or not. But I will take the subscribers first, as I said. So, Lapa, I don't think is a subscriber. Bisonov is. Pide, I think is. Primary Disease, I think is now. Arsenal Fan is. Sabadog is. John Koss might be. Marwa isn't. And I think M. Damiaki is not. Is not. So, on Fridays, I'm doing subscribers, you know, the same like everybody. But for the Monday and Wednesday streams, I take subscribers first. Give a little bit of priority and an incentive to be a subscriber. Yeah, you stay on the list. Just keep staying and hanging out. I'd like to thank Mr. Coffee for being a mod in the channel also. So Mule Skinner sort of loses a half tempo there, playing Bishop c5 and then back to e7, but he has to go somewhere. I don't think I like Bishop c5 that much. I mean, this line I play with white, actually, with colors reversed, but it seems like the extra tempo makes a big difference. We're just winning a pawn. I mean, this is some sort of homemade pawn sacrifice. I wonder if I should even take it or not. I found that in general, when I try to win this pawn, oftentimes I lag in development. If I were to play knight takes d5, knight takes d5, queen d5, bishop d5, etc., in such positions, oftentimes there are problems where I'm feeling a lot of pressure because black seems to have a bit better development. I don't know if it's enough reason to not grab the pawn or not. You can disagree with me if you want. You know, I have no idea what the computer would do. It probably would take the pawn, and black would have like half a pawn plus compensation. I feel like this is easier to play where I don't give my opponent the initiative. And he ends up with his bishop on a kind of bad square, and we just hope this pawn will fall at a later time. Can you sometimes make some kind of collaboration stream with Mark Esterman? Well, I don't know. You know, Mark and I are very different. We respect each other, but we're very different. We never discussed such an arrangement. But it's not impossible. Definitely an idea. I wouldn't mind clobbering Mark Esterman. Clobberating. Rook c8. All right. What are we doing? Bishop c5. Trading pieces. No. Queen d3. No. Bishop d4. Maybe. I really want to give up my bishop for no reason, but now it's hard to develop the rest of my pizzas. Knight c5 drops a piece to d4. That's always good. Queen d2 is a way of continuing development. a3 is weakening. Rather not make any extra pawn moves and further weaken my position. I mean, h3 is another prophylactic move that's interesting. Iced coffee. Collaborating. Why so serious is here? Speaking of collaborating, someone. What's up, man? 94. Just accepting the tempo loss. Of course, it's a candidate move. The man, the myth, the legend. Rook c8. It's hard to decide what to do. Queen d2, queen d3, queen d4. What do we have for squares here? Queen d3 just invites knight e5, which is usually like kind of an invasive species anyway. I actually thought about bishop d4. Going on a pawn grabbing mission like bishop d4, knight d4, queen d4, rook c4, queen a7. That actually looks okay. This is a weird move. Let's play it. It's something that I've done a lot in similar positions. Just blockade. And it cut out knight e5. This transfer bothers me. You just joined in case you already played knight d4, b3. That must not concede. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. He made me play knight b3 by playing bishop c5 back to e7. So I feel embarrassed to play knight to d4. Psychological. It would be psychologically weak. I could take with a knight back to d4, actually. But this is my plan to develop. Psychologically weak to play knight back to d4. Regardless if it's good or not. It's making a concession. This way I get everything mobilized. His a7's hanging. If I decline that pawn, that'll be the second one I declined. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with taking that pawn now. I mean, I just don't really see anything for him. It may look greedy at first glance, but I just don't see a reason not to take this. Whereas in the first instance, when I could have taken the pawn on d5 for free, he would have had counterplay. Now he has two bishops, but I don't think this bishop's all that great. So, two bishops. This one is good. The e6 bishop, maybe not as much. It does have an exchange down here, but I just won't take it. You're not going to bring his queen to h3. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you look at is rook c4, right? He tries to get active right away. So I was calculating queen a7, d4, and rook f d1. That was my kind of main line. And I didn't see anything great. You know, rook c4, queen a7, d4. He enforces that. Then I pin him with a rook. Maybe cd1, actually. And I'm triple attacking d4 then. And what's he going to do? Like sack his queen or something? So this is just which rook? The f rook guards f2. Could that be important or not? I don't know. Again, you have to argue that he has a little bit of compensation for sacrificed pawn. Two bishops have been banned. He's trading off his two bishops. I mean, technically, that's good for me. I think, you know, in a strategic sense, that I'm glad he trades off his bishop because then it's no two bishops anymore in the endgame. My knight is crap on b3. It's always a bad square for the knight. It's a common refrain in my streams. Knight 3 is not for me. But there are exceptions to every rule. You know, this is the classic bad knight, which he forced me to do. It's common in the Sicilian. Oh, look at this. Queen c6, subtle. Okay, well, the knight blockader or the queen blockader, or just move the king. Is he threatening some sort of b6? No. Threatening trap my queen? No. Checklist. The checklist. The Skinner. Principal Skinner. Never called him that before, but it's a pretty good nickname. Knight d5 is a threat. It's live. So I think you should probably play something like queen e6, the second pawn. Queen e6, queen b7, queen h3, queen e7, knight g4. Could be a problem. That looks unsafe. What's up, guys? Taking challenges. I got 10 of them already, so that might keep me busy for the afternoon. We're streaming till 8 o'clock, 2 more hours to go. So this, I think, is just crazy. This is the move of a man who's either desperate, drunk, or just bored. You just don't want to trade pieces when you're down a pawn in an endgame like this. And I mean, the only thing that's really gone for him is the fact that he has kind of active pieces and the queens are on the board. If the queens go off the board, you know, now he has like zero compensation for the pawn. He's down. So that's really the absolutely worst thing he could do in that scenario. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be any sort of tactic. I could play b4, I guess. b4 wins a pawn. Not exactly. b4, rook c4, knight d5, rook c1. That's actually working for me. Wow, b4 just wins a pawn clean, it looks like. b4 anywhere, and then takes on d5. There's a trap. Damn, there's a trap. Esserman would probably spot it. He's very good tactically. b4, rook c7. And I can't take on d5 any longer. Alright, John Cost. Just re-challenge. IVYM re-subbed. I'm just re-ing. Rook d4, knight e4. Rook d5, knight c3, rook c5, knight e2 check, king up, rook takes c, knight c1, rook c1 with a better endgame that I'm not sure is a win. This move is the only active move for black, I think. That really makes sense here. But again, he doesn't want to trade pieces. What's up, Bob? Good to see you spamming the chat. Okay, rook d4. Spam. He traded queens. Bad idea. Unlike Muleskinner as well. So this is the long line I looked at. Rook d5, knight takes c3. Rook c5, knight e2 check. King, I guess, f1. Knight c1, rook c1. That's an endgame that I'm not too confident about. But then again, what was I planning on here? Maybe not very well thought out by me. I'm a pawn up. I have a better. I'm a pawn up, and I have a better king position. I mean, this really should be good. Very good winning chances. He's got back rank problem. I've got a better king. I'm a pawn up to begin with. We're going to be more than a pawn up. We're going to be a pawn up with positional advantage, like better rook position. I'm not sure about g2 versus f1. I mean, I think he had the drawing chances anyway, you know. Like, I never had like a forced win. This back rank is going to be a little inconvenient for black. It means I get like a rook on a 7th, a kind of optimal rook position in addition to my pawn up. So I think it's going to be pretty tough for him. How about like counterplay for black? Not sure this is the right idea here. Surely. This was my plan, but I guess g4 was too fancy. Under no circumstances can he allow me to have have 2 connected pass pawns, I would say. It's a lot like game I had yesterday. We're gonna snuggle these pawns on the queen side. Oh, okay. F4 check. Is that a good thing to throw in? I thought rook e7 there was his best move. I don't know. I felt like there was, yeah, rook e7 at one moment. Right here, he goes here. This move threatening rook e3 check. Actually, he can't do that. I just take. Oh. I guess there's no threat then. All right, I don't know. Next game, Pi Day, subscriber. If you just subscribed, let me know. IVYM just subscribed. He doesn't usually play. Worst game, thought White had many good moves. I'm interested in the technical aspect of that rook end game, Mule Skinner. I'd like to know what Mule Skinner, what the engine thinks about that initial moment when we enter the rook end game. I've got a pawn up, slightly better king, and the more active rook. Should be a win, but it was an interesting game. There were some moments where I declined the pawn in the opening. I'd like to know what the engine thinks of that. Is Pi Day here? I feel like he's not here. Okay. What's up, guys? Please support the stream. Bill donated 70 bits. We had a couple new subscribers today. Resubscribers. I think 1 new subscriber. Awesome. You guys can check out my eBay items. Nothing's sold. I think Mondays are bad for eBay. What do you think, Bob? Wow, the C5. Fridays have to be the best eBay day because people get like paid on Friday. They just blow all their money on shoes and bags. Bags and shoes. It's always payday. It's negligible. I think Friday is the best eBay day. So this is one of those things that I never really bothered to study. The symmetrical Queen's Gambit. Apparently this is what Rubinstein spent his last years bowling over in the sanitarium, as it were. I just wasted a boatload of time for nothing. Alright, whatever. I wasted a minute on nothing. Now he plays knight f6. I think that's actually recommended by books. Things like books. You guys know what books are? Okay. It's 2019. No one knows what a book is. No chess books on the eBay yet. But I might get desperate. I was thinking I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Something like 17 boxes worth of chess books. I'm just approximating. I have about 17 boxes of chess books. How much storage space does that take in a storage unit? Alright. Okay, so this is like a Marshall defense now? Or what? E4, knight f6, d5. Those things you hear on your phone, yeah. No, actually, Mule Skinner, I've had that a couple of times, and I've tried to take that pawn. And every time I try to win that pawn, it seems like black gets enough compensation for the pawn. So it's like some obscure gambit that's playable. So I decided to kind of play it like I were black in a C3 Sicilian or something. Oftentimes I'll do... I mean, that's another aspect of that position. It's a little like a reverse C3 Sicilian. Just a typical IQP position, right? You're passive because your bishop's on E7. You can't get the activity of like being white in an IQP game. But I think the pawn sack is reasonable. Oh, dropped my central pawn again. Can't believe it. Overacting.
For the last time, no.
Alright. Overacting can be bad for you. This is, I think I played this position against Oliver Mihawk. This is a tournament game I had. E6, knight c3. And it's a form of really messed up Queen's Gambit declined. You can't take the pawn because of Queen a4 check. But this looks awkward for black. Ugh. This doesn't look right. E5? Knight e4. It's like the vulture. E5, knight g4. That feels greedy for me. I'm just going to develop. Just entertainment value. But I've got to stop overacting. Be a little more realistic. Wow, e6. Is this just lost for black? My God, man, what if I play this? How can this possibly be okay for black? Maybe it is. I don't believe it. But he might be able to create enough craziness that he makes me regret doing this. Little voice inside my head was saying, just take on e6. This is too much. You're asking for too much, man. On the other hand, I think he probably should have played queen b6 right away there. He's made a mistake now. He wanted to stop knight b5, but I don't think it was necessary. Like queen b6, e5. All right, now it's the twilight zone. But it's a good twilight zone for white. This is definitely a good twilight zone. Playing against pieces. I play, what is it, Gligorich? I play with the pieces. I don't know. Weird book title. So, you think Bob is having a what? A Tourette's? Looks a bit incorrect. Incorrect. Grammatically incorrect. This is clearly not good for black. But my margin for error, how wide is it? Okay, I fear not. I feel like quoting Shakespeare or something. He's getting funky with this stuff. Maybe I should just play a3 here, but it's slow. Fear not. I'm getting confused, I have to admit. Alright. I found my FIDE IM title certificate, which is cool. I didn't even think I had one. Someone was asking about that a couple streams ago, actually more than a couple, like a week ago, and I didn't think I had one. I just had this pin that I lost. It's cool though. He's all just speed and crazy. Obviously very incorrect opening here for black. Twitch issues, I don't think will affect your challenge. There's a trap based on c4 now. Okay, guys, we're streaming till 8 o'clock. I've got subscribers first. Primary Disease, Arsenal fan. Bisonov. We're not keep donating 200 bits to get on the leaderboard. Awesome. Okay, H5. What is that about? Now my E5 pawn's going to get targeted. Over protect thy center. But I mean, he might have c4 in a timely moment and just have a million pieces attacking e5. His knight is sort of sorry. On h7. Chess stream. Brony chat. That's not happening. The rook c8 thing. At the same time, it makes you want to just play this. Seems like a lazy move though. Lazy move slightly weakening certain squares like c3. The Brony chat. Bro chat. Pide's super fast. He flags me and just plays super fast with confusing complications. It's amazing he's gotten this far with this position. So I don't trust black's position at all in general. He managed to like reorganize his stuff. Bishop g5 I was thinking about. Man, look at that. Can do that. There's got to be some sort of sacrifice here for me. I can't believe it. Oh, it's time. It's a time thing. He took that. Wow. What am I doing here? Good thing I'm not playing Uber Driver. They just allowed mate in 1. Strange oversight. It looks like he's holding on, like after King F7. Even Rook G8. I'm not even sure I'm better here. Computer is, but I wasn't. Alright. It's not that easy for me. I'm not sure I would have won this if he doesn't just blunder. Guys, if someone's a challenger and they're a subscriber and I skip them, let me know. Almost done my iced coffee. I might have had it, Arsenal. I know, it was really interesting. Really interesting move. Your turn. So we have friends who aren't subscribers like Dimitri and Marwa. But Arsenal fan, Bisonov are subscribers. Knight c3 is a very rare move against a6. It seems to walk into threats of b4. So I would think that would be very rarely played. You could transpose some kind of closed Sicilian, I guess, after like f4. f4, Grand Prix attack, c5. Okay, this is more principled. It's totally principled what he's doing, though. It's not bad. a3 is interesting. It's not that bad. My position is not that bad either. Reminds me a little bit... Where's Astrobate today? He likes to play b6. It's similar to an Owen defense. Alright, just that. Trading pieces. Every little trade. Interesting move. Rook c1. Quick play. It's a quick play. Huh. So you're just going to do that? You can just do that? Play c4 yourself? Very interesting. This is very, very interesting. Are my bishops like trapped? Trap my own bishop? You can't really trap my bishop. I mean, it can go here if it has to. So it's like b3 you can't do. It seems like you're supposed to play c4 now. Supposed to. According to what rules? Weird position. I'm not sure who's better here. Probably white. Alright. Moment of decision now. Probably I should take that. Swear to God, I'm not trying to slow roll him. I just... Sitting there for 2 minutes and I didn't even realize I could take this pawn. It is a very strange position. I didn't mean to like pretend like I don't see it or something. I was actually analyzing other moves like bishop takes c4, rook c4, and knight e7. This was the analysis. Take, knight e7 going to d5, but he has bishop g5 there. I think that now he's just busto. King busto. Probably primary disease, you know, isn't used to playing people as high rated as me. He plays kind of wild, a little bit of a wild open style, but I mean, you would tone it down if you played players my rating all the time, probably. When you take space, you have to really consolidate against strong players. I mean, I play very conservatively when I play higher rated players in general. You don't have to, but that's a good way not to lose. This move here, e5, weakens White's position a little bit, right? Overextending. I've had a lot of discussions with Asterbate about that, and he appreciates playing the black side of the Owen defense, how often e5 can be deadly like this. f3, trapper. The trapper, trap on. So I have a check. It's not a mate, and we don't play checks just to be fancy, right? Sack my queen. I should just take the rook, I guess. Something fancy. Trap on. Great commercial. One of the greatest commercials of all time on American TV. Canadian, I assume, as well. The clapper. But we have the trapper here. Queen h4, bishop f2. Unfortunately, there was nothing there for me. I was looking for weird traps and stuff that doesn't exist. That don't exist. So you're trapping my bishop on h1. That's the attempt here. Some sort of thing. Some sort of thing like that. I'm not so concerned about my a6 pawn. And we're ready. So this is a good lesson in overextension, hypermodern chess. I mean, it was more or less like a one-move blunder. But things happen when you make a lot of pawn moves and you overextend your position. Bad things happen to good people. d6, fe6. Now f4. Oh, that's not really relevant now. Feels like we should have a tactic, but we're just going to develop. All the pieces are mobilized. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Whatever. Everything's good. Check. Developing is a tactic. Very effective one. I'm sure I missed some fancier ways to win the game. We just get it done. Take a walk. He's going for a little walk. Needs some air. Rook a4 check. Getting last piece in the game. Crafty. It's like fancy, but looks cool. Oh, you got b4. That changes the calculations, though. Now the a3 pawn is hanging. Just going to be a materialist now. All right, next subscriber challenge, Arsenal fan. We lost Marwa. Maybe he'll be back. It might be too late for him, though. Probably I should have taken his challenge. All right. If Marwa comes back, we'll take his challenge first because he's a friend of the stream, though he's not a subscriber. He's a kid and it's late. I should have taken his challenge first. I just realized. I wasn't thinking about the time, though. In Europe, for you guys, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. In England, it's midnight. No, 11:30. Okay. In the UK, But 12:30 in mainland Europe, pretty late. Should have taken the kids challenge. All right. But it helps if you're a subscriber, guys. I will take your challenges first. Arsenal playing the Rouser with white. Yesterday we had a game in a slime. I call it the Nissipiano variation, but he didn't take. Yesterday we had a game in the simul with bishop takes f6. I'm good at drawing arrows. This will just transpose some kind of classical dragon. Actually a pretty good line for white, knight b3. Highly recommend it. Thanks, Purple Dragoons. This is a good variation for white, in my humble opinion. Classical dragon with bishop g5. Classical dragoon. Usually both sides castle kingside right about last move. Castle's kingside for white supports f4, f5. Guys, tomorrow we're having our Rapid Arena. We do every other week. The Ponda Rapid Arena. Password protected tournament to keep the trolls out. If you're a subscriber or friend of the stream, join us tomorrow for that event at 5:30 here Eastern time, Eastern USA time, obviously. We will be starting the tournament at 5:45. Queen d2, so don't castle queenside in the dragon, in the classical dragon. That's what Nefedov tried to do last time. Castle's queenside is okay in most lines of the Yugoslav attack and others, but generally you're castling kingside in the classical. Arsenal, though, doesn't know the theory, so he's liable to do anything. I assume, he just doesn't play this variation, but he might be liable to castle queenside or something crazy like that. A5 is an idea. It's a little bit anti-positional to play A5, though. Rook C8 is probably good, too. The subscriber stream analysis on Thursday. We have Wednesday off. Starting at the same time, every stream at the same time. For now. Thanks to Warnaki and Bill. So he is going to castle queenside. Basically transposing some sort of type of game I've had against Nefedov before. I have not committed my king yet. Bear in mind. Nefedov, not here. Strange that he's missing. Knight b4. Alright, let's just castle. And we'll just try for a vicious counterattack. Viscous. Viscous counterattack. Bishop h6, knight b4 is an idea. Securing the e-pawn. Alright, well that's different then. Very solid move. Karpovian Arsenal fan. Karpov would not normally, of course, play the classical variation, but there's something Karpovian and solid about f3. What's up, Jim? I don't think you're going to get another challenging guy. We've got a lot of challenges, and they take quite a while. f3. All right. Coffee and chess. This is my Dunkin' Donuts mug. I don't really like Dunkin' Donuts, but I found it in the basement. So, do this anyway. Knight b4, e5, knight b4. anyway. I'll have an anyway burger. Oh, the solidest move in the world. Played instantly. Queen 8 doesn't really work, does it? I guess this is just a mistake to play knight b4 in the first place. I've never seen Arsenal fan play this type of variation before. Just coming up with new stuff over the board. Pretty fast. What's up, Jim? We have the Greek team. We've played 182 games against Arsenal fans so far, closing in on 200. He took a long break when he wasn't watching the stream. Or at least wasn't, as far as I know, wasn't playing on the stream. And G4. Man, feels like I ought to have something. Time's just going. It's so strange to see someone play the classical variation Castle Queenside. I've literally never really seen anyone try to do this. It's out of my normal comfort zone. I don't know what to do. D5, rook fd8. Try to play for d5. Seems weird. Threatening d5. He's got 4 minutes to my 2. Approximately. Knight b5 is answered by queen c2 check, by the way. I'm not sure it works, but there's some cool lines. Why shouldn't it work, actually? You can even take with the knight on the end. I have not fully calculated this. Look, he found e5 instantaneously. A complicated sort of variation. It was instantaneously played. Damn, dude. So you're telling me, like, spotted that tactic? Wow. E5, queen e5, bishop f4. That's a classic. I wouldn't be surprised if I have some kind of resources there, but I don't have time to even look for it. It's kind of a Peart's motif. Don't bust any computer like stuff on me here, okay? He didn't. Okay, good. Good. I was waiting for like some sort of queen sack, like queen d8, rook d8, takes on e7, followed by rook d1. What's up, someone on sound? Arsenal had tons of time, so there's no reason to do that. It was a really crazy position. Excellent chances for white. Well, the thing about the queen sack, right? Like, he does that, and I have to put my queen on e8. But I can play knight back to c6 to hold the queening square. I'm not sure, though. We'll have to take a look. I mean, this definitely... This definitely is a position we need to investigate. If he can do a queen sack there. Dragon bishop will decide. Dragon. The dragon, or maybe not. He can kill me with rook d1. Dude. Alright. So I played rook fd8, which I think is weird, but the truth is he should just play some sort of normal move. Anyway, he plays this. I play d5. And he found e5 instantaneously, which I thought was the most interesting move. Apparently he can play knight b5. Computer has some kind of crazy line where I guess he's sacking stuff. I don't know. Too complicated to calculate. And then d4. This is really interesting. Again, best move knight b5. It's easy if you're a computer. I guess it all hinges on this. You know, queen c2 check, queen c2, rook c2, bishop d3 or something weird. I was thinking like bishop d3. That doesn't work. Man. Alright. What do I do after d4, knight b5? Queen e5. Now bishop f4, and my queen is still trapped almost. Plus I'm hanging a knight here. Damn. No, Arsenal fan, it looks like it all works. You played this, which is just bad. And now even so, queen c3 is okay for white. But you played this very quickly. I mean, for me it's easy. d4 is my only move. If you take with the queen, I mean, you lose a queen, right? I'm gonna have to sack a piece, you know. That's a common theme, actually. So this is easy for me to play instantly, but your next move, you got like 3 minutes here, 4 minutes. Just take your time. I guess at the end of the day, these lines, something ends up getting trapped for black, like a knight or rook gets trapped. But this here, bishop f4, okay, this is a lot to calculate. Queen d5, but I'm just dropping a piece in this line, so I'm probably just lost. I don't think like my whole variation with rook fd8 was good. But not an easy position for black to play. So I don't know. It's very strange, like rook c8. Where's the opening book here? There's no games. Okay, nobody played my move, bishop e6. It's almost unheard of. Blebojevic versus Korchnoi, 1990. Blebojevic played queen d2. And everybody just castled here. So my move is like a new move. You castle queenside. I don't know what to do. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Bisonov. Yeah, but it shouldn't make you want to quit chess. It should just make you want to play better. Motivate you to play better. Why should that make you want to quit chess? You had a winning position against someone much higher rated than yourself. A lot of people can't even achieve a winning position against a stronger player. You got the hard part, you know. I think one of the hardest parts you managed to do. And you just got to You got to get the full point. No quitting. I mean, a lot of players are fearful of higher rated opponents, and so they play passively. Arsenal fan, you're not afraid. You play aggressively. You manage to get a winning position, and you know, it's a very sharp position. But your only mistake is playing too fast, and I think that's, if you just took your time there, you would find a good move. One of the better moves, at least. You just oversight your queen. I mean, that's crazy. Just playing too fast. B3, very solid. I played this line with white. Rook is developed from its original square. It's the crab. Crab pawn. Rook E1's a good move, very standard for this type of line. I don't want to end up playing like the black side of a Pirtz when white goes E4. Jim, thanks for the donation, dude. Warnaki and Jim, 200 each. Bill with 70 tonight. Bishop F5, knight D2 is getting kind of interesting. Actually, Bishop F5 allows knight H4, though. I don't know if I like that. Let's just play D5. I'm willing to lose the tempo. This is a tough line. It's a very, very solid line for white against King's Indian players. I know because I've had to play black in these positions, and I've also tried to play this way with white. It's very, very solid. Easy to play without knowing a lot of theory. The last time I had a game in this variation was like maybe 3 years ago against a friend of mine, Michał Vrona Mihai, who's like an older FM from Hungary. I've probably played this variation more like recently with white than with black. Although I was also experimenting with A4. Kramnik plays B3. He's played it successfully. I've analyzed quite a bit B3, E5. This is like a very important, very, very important and kind of sharper line that Kramnik has some very good ideas in. Rook E1. It's so weird that like, it's just so weird that Kramnik like stopped playing. I still can't really process that. Okay. D5. I can't imagine spending like 35 years of your life on something and then quitting when you're still like relatively middle-aged. Knight on BD2, solid move. Now, I did think about A3. That's kind of awkward for white. I would never really want to allow that if I'm white. Queen. The queen. Queen hunt. Man, C5 is kind of looking juicy too. Well, it's a little different than boxing, to be fair, Arsenal. Getting your head smashed in after a while, like, you know, is slightly different. But philosophically, I understand your point. from the sporting perspective, I understand your point. So he's going to take on c5, perhaps. Am I accepting challenges? Well, I am, but I'm playing all the subscribers to my channel, to my stream first, and I'm probably not going to get more than 4 or 5 more games. So if you challenge me, there's no guarantee you're going to get to play. This is a concession. He took with a knight. Okay, that's a concession and dangerous for white too, because he loses his central pawn. Now I think that I'm just like really playing with a huge spatial advantage, though he's got that. Maybe I underestimated this. I didn't think it would be a big deal, honestly. But I don't want to be losing that pawn for nothing. I'm willing to trade rook and pawn for 2 pieces, and black should be better. Was Kasparov a shell of his former self when he retired? Absolutely not. Kasparov has a huge ego, you know, and I mean, much bigger ego than Kramnik probably. And you have to have an ego at that level, but I think his ego is bigger. I mean, Kramnik has ego as well, but not in that magnitude like Kasparov. But Kasparov had a lot of other interests. He was getting heavily involved in politics, I think, you know, and that's really the main reason why he stopped playing. In addition to the fact that he didn't want to go down, you know, looking weak. He was still very strong. I mean, I felt like he almost lost it. Okay, the whole match with the computer was suspicious to me, but I felt like his match against Kramnik in the first place was almost like he wanted to lose, to hand the baton to Kramnik. Like, that match, I don't know if you guys followed it back in 2000 or whenever. What was it, 2000, 2002? When was the Kramnik-Kasparov match? I just had this impression, I'm sure a lot of others did as well, that it felt like, not like he lost on purpose, but kind of like he didn't really want to win, was the way it felt. Like he was just ready to lose, and he wanted the cognoscenti to kind of sense that. He lost 2 games, and what, he like didn't win any or something? Was that was the final? It sort of seemed a little ridiculous. Anyway. Bryson, I was doing a good job of getting cagey here. But I think that fundamentally black has a lot of, I want to use the word trumps, but I had to delete that word from my vocabulary a while ago. Interesting. I like bishop e6. I mean, you're very kind to say magnificent, Arsenal fan. I'm not interested in material. I mean, if I'm playing a computer, I'm a little concerned that I'm giving up a pawn, and I might not have enough for it. But against a human being, it's far more likely White's going to make some sort of tactical mistake here. Wow, nice move. Totally unexpected. Knight c6, queen e8. Triple exclam. Because knight c6, queen b7 is not good enough. Oh no, he did it. All right. We were lucky there, though. I mean, I think the position was actually okay for white. Maybe not. Let's see. I mean, not the final position, but before. Yeah, I mean, take. Yeah, just make a sensible move here. Dude, you played a good game. He just made a one-move tactic blunder. I mean, it happens a lot today, apparently. Okay, so we're all out of subscribers. We're going down the list now. Bill, awesome. Thank you for the donation, being the weekly leader of 240. That was an interesting game. There's some good questions about strategy there. Positionally, should you give up? Should you give up your center when I played c takes d? Is it better to take with a c pawn or the knight on d4? You know, I think that's a very interesting question. But the main thing is, I don't think you should allow a3 at any point. That should be prevented. There's too much space with the a3 pawn. It disrupts your position too much. It should be perfectly fine for white if you just throw in an a3 at one moment there. Totally standard. The Dutch. Okay, I don't know this variation. I always wanted to play it. And I like bishop g4, bishop g5 type systems against a lot of other lines. I mean, we'll probably end up transposing to some form of knight c3 line if I play that, though I don't have to. Any old Trompowsky player loves this for white. My friend, International Master Joe, we call the Weed Master, hasn't been around lately because he's in his new house with air conditioning. He's really into playing the Trompowsky with white, you know. But I think that bishop g5, it's not just a Trompowsky. I mean, this is like a good line. It's probably like one of the best anti-Dutch lines for white, though I don't know the theory very well. Knight c3 would transpose to a line that I did play a lot. We just kind of play Tromp style here with white. Structure. It's not very exciting to play like this, honestly. But he doesn't have f6 for his knight, you know? That's a huge difference over some other positions. Think about it. Get back to me. If he has the knight coming to f6, coming to e4, it makes a big difference. That's a very good line. Like in the normal Trompowsky, where you play d4, knight f6, bishop g5, g6, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, or bishop takes f6, what am I saying? E takes f6. That's different because you still have the pawn on f7, right? And then you can go like f5 and have the f6 square free for the pieces, and that's the kind of important point. How does black get his knight to e4 here is my question. Not easy. How do you get it to d6 to go to e4? How do you get it to f6 to go to e4? If you can't do that, you don't have as good a position as in those Trompowsky lines. Knight e4 would solve all of black's problems strategically. This is like a normal setup. d6, c6, knight a6, knight c7, or something like that. But again, you can't get the magic knight to e4, that would just block white's whole position. And I would either have to fix his pawns or play f3, which would like weaken my king side. And then we just go with like the queen side expansion at some point. My new house, the jailhouse? You mean my friend? His new house? No. He has to take care of his elderly mother, and his family got her like a new house or something. It has air conditioning, so he doesn't come. It's like that friend who doesn't love you anymore because their parents got air conditioning, something like that. They used to come over all the time. He's probably watching now, laughing. Oh no, he found a way to do it. Knight e6 to g5. Nah, you're not going to do that. Maybe I shouldn't play knight f4 at all. That's probably a mistake. Not a big mistake, but like a small mistake. Maybe I should wait rather than place the knight in f4. There's really no rush with knight f4. I have other constructive moves I can make here. I didn't want to commit to castling kingside yet. I wanted to keep my options open. And I wasn't sure where to put my queen, honestly. Knight f4 was kind of like a way of copping out and not committing. h4 keeping the knight off g5 so it can't come to e4. So white is better, but breaking through is, you know, not easy. And you have to decide, what about your king? Where am I putting my king? Where am I putting my king and why? This is mostly sort of bluff, feels like. Oh no, h5. Oh no. Tell me that works. It doesn't work. h5? It's ridiculous. Okay, h5, g5, h6. Actually looks pretty good. I have a long history of playing the Carlsbad variation against the Dutch with knight h3, like g3 and knight h3. And knight g6 is a check that almost works, but it doesn't work here. But I've beaten a lot of good players in these type of positions. Huang Trong, Kurdo, to name a few. This is a really typical Dutch disaster. There is one little problem. He's going to have rook g8. And it looks like I'm going to have to play bishop f1, which wasn't really what I planned on. Or I can play rook h2. Rook h2 should hold the fort. Now we're just gone, right? Castles. It's disaster for black, strategically. Okay, this b5's like desperation. He's falling apart. Apart mental. He's a fighter, though. Man, knight d5. Not going to give up. And I don't blame him. Knight d5 didn't cut it. But again, Demetrius playing a little too quickly, I think. You guys need to use your time. It's there for a reason. Use your time. It's a resource. Imagine like chess in a scientific way. I mean, time is one of your resources. Position is one of your resources. You're not using your resources when you don't use your time. Queen f7, rook h7, king h7, bishop d7. What's that? Not enough. I've got a million pawns for the exchange. That's a tough win, though. That's a little tough. I think I'd prefer something different. This looks good. Queen d6. This is a nasty threat. I have rook h7 now. But it's not good time management by black. It was a difficult position anyway. It's a good positional knockout. Okay, guys, we still have time left. Como Kid. Let's check these challenges now. We played him before. Killed me. Belgian Master. Primary Disease. Re-challenging. Okay. Bonk's Adventure, challenging to a random time control. John Cost is back. He's a subscriber. All right. Guys, you got a challenge between 5 plus 3 and 7 plus 3. So Bonk's Adventure needs to re-challenge me. I hope John is here. All right, Bonk. 7 plus 3. What do you think between 5 plus 3 and 7 plus 3? When I don't use my time, I make 50 perfect moves and 1 blunder. That's what happens when you start chess late. You know, I think that you'll get better, but you'll always make... Sitting in my book is a book called Psychology and Chess by Grandmaster... You see, I'm brain dead. I tried to remember Serbian Grandmaster earlier. Krogius. So, and he talks about in there how it all depends often on like when you started to play. If you started when you're a child prodigy, it becomes so inherently like deep for you that you almost never make blunders. It's almost like you have a kind of engine in your head, blunder checking. But when you start chess at a later age, I think that kind of goes out the window. And people like Arsenal fan, players who started relatively late, are gonna struggle with tactical, you know, oversights more than others. All right, Mora Gambit resembles that remark as well. Did you start late at chess, Mr. Coffee? I did not know that. That's not too late, you know, a little later than me. By prodigal standards, it's not that late. I mean, by prodigal standards, it's a little bit late. By average standards, it's not that bad. By modern day, yeah, everybody learns when they're 4 now. Little kids at Scholastic Chess Camp. There's no such thing as starting too late, but it's going to be harder and harder to get over that blunder barrier. I think Krogius's explanation was, you know, or example was Reshevsky and Capablanca, these great grandmasters who started when they were little kids. You know, Capablanca was, and Reshevsky too, were very famous as child prodigies. Maybe Reshevsky even more so. He used to give simul's when he was a child, you know. They never made blunders, almost. Bishop e2, it's an interesting move. Almost everyone automatically plays bishop c4 against the Moro. I don't think that should necessarily have to be the case. There are other ways to play. This I think, it's a little bit passive though. You know, there's no place to put the queen on e2. Yeah, if you quit for a while, right. I mean, if you started when you're 14 and played continuously, it would be different. That would be more like me. I played continuously from the age of like 11 or 12. But if you start 14, play 2 years, then quit again, you might as well just start over. But I keep referring back to my example of the case of the Latvian Grandmaster, not Igor's Rousis, but Mises, who started with 21. He told me around 2021. He may have been lying, but I don't think he has a reason to lie about something like that, you know. No reason for a grandmaster to lie to me about when he started playing chess. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was telling the truth. It's impressive, you know, to start with 20 or 21 and become a GM. But then again, like, you never know when people say they started. What does that mean exactly, you know? Maybe he knew how the pieces moved at the age of 5, but didn't really play a tournament game until he was 20. I don't know, like, I don't know the exact qualifications of start. What does it mean? You know, I started when I was 3. I started when I was 20. I knew how the pieces moved when I was about 5 years old. And I even still have the chess set that I got when I was 5 years old, but I didn't really ever play until I reapproached the game when I was 11. So they're past like Mr. Coffee's sort of story. I could say I started with 5, but it would kind of be a lie because I didn't really understand the rules properly till I was 11. Too late to become, a world-class top 100 player probably if you start, later than 20. But who knows, with modern learning tools, anything's possible if you're a genius. I would imagine anybody who is like super, super intelligent and committed to the game could still become a top 100 player even if they didn't learn till they were like 25, if they were extremely brilliant. But that's pretty rare. Okay, we're taking that. This is an interesting pawn sacrifice, but I doubt that it's sound. You could try it something like rook e1 here. I think I'm forced to take. It's like a matter of principle. If I don't take his pawn, I mean, kind of chess player am I? It's a central pawn. You have high hopes for Chessable, investing a lot of time there lately? Interesting move, knight g5, playing for development. Though that piece might get attacked. I guess I should just take. Help him develop a little bit here. John Koss gonna sack a piece here. Wow. I mean, almost. Do you guys play horseshoes in Greece? The game where you throw the horseshoes at the post. We have a saying in English. Close doesn't count except in horseshoes and hand grenades. Either it works or it doesn't work. There's no, this isn't, it's not working. There was that joke, close doesn't count except in horseshoes, hand grenades, and dancing. Let's not go there. Maybe Bob will get excited. E6. All right. But he's going to be down 2 central pawns now. It would be extremely greedy to take that pawn on b2. You're up 2 pawns. Try to be sensible. It's good advice, trust me. Trading off pieces in white, well, with white in the Mora is usually not a good plan, though. Well, I mean, the only piece he traded was the knight g5. Yeah, true. I mean, you shouldn't trade any pieces if you can help it. But, I mean, to be fair, this move is not like a piece trade. Like, knight d5, if I take that, he takes with the pawn, and we get a scenario where my pawn is backward along the e-file here, like in the dragon. So I don't think this itself is that bad. I have 2 pawns. I could consider taking a third one, but I'm going to get my development. Well, I think when you sacrificed your central pawn, lost it, whatever, the most interesting continuation is like rook e1, looking for some sort of counterplay here. But as you can see, your bishop on e2 move slowed you down. That blocks the play along the file there. That's... we got to keep our egos intact, right? At least John Koss is honest. He didn't see it. Now there's no compensation for 2 pawns down. Guys, we still have 45 minutes left. So, Como Kid, Ladaki, I called him Damlaki. Primary disease, getting a second game in. Luana and Bonk. I'll take the challenges I can get in here. But never be greedy when you're up material. I would never take any risks in a situation I'm up a piece at all. Even a pawn for that matter, if I can help it, I don't take risks. Okay, Como Kid 7+3 played a nice game against me in the Simul 2 weeks ago. Wasn't yesterday. Must have been a week ago. Sunday. Strange opening that was dry. I don't remember. Was I worse in that first game? In the final position or something? I don't recall now. He plays Scandinavian with knight f6, which is an opening that I made videos about at one point. I used to play this a lot for black, but I gave it up. It's just actually somewhat unsound as well. It's just too well known now. It's lost its surprise value, and I think 20 years ago it was a good practical opening to play, but today I don't go there. Okay, this Portuguese variation is maybe the best try for black. I never played that. I'm just going to avoid any confrontations here. We have a question about knight c3 or c3 now. Probably I should play like c3, securing the central pawn. He's used 0 time. $1800, $1800, $1800, $1800. How about the f7 pawn? Maybe I should focus on development. This is where it gets dangerous. I start getting a little bit foggy-headed after 2 hours. I don't like black's time management here. We were discussing this, and I think it applies now as well. In a time control like this, there's no reason to play all your moves instantly unless you have them committed to memory. I don't think having an advantage of like 1 minute on the clock is worth making like maybe the second best move. I would take my time and not be so worried about it's increment time control with the 3 seconds added every move. You don't have to be ahead on the clock. You know what I mean? I think that people overestimate the risk of being behind on the clock. I've had a lot of experience, and I know a lot of strong players who routinely won every single game they played while the opponent had more time. Walter Brown, Alexander Ivanov, 2,600 players who, you know, they just knew how to manage their time, and they're not like intimidated by the fact that the other player has a little bit more time. You just got to get used to it. I realized at one point that a lot of people are just simply like uncomfortable getting in time pressure, and that's something that you have to get used to. So I realized that a lot of times people play too quickly, almost out of a sense of fear that, oh shit, I can't get in time pressure, can't have less time than the other guy. I think that's there's some sort of issue here. No. All right. I was just making sure he doesn't have something crazy like f5, but I can't believe he can sacrifice a central pawn on e6. Try to trap my bishop, which it wouldn't even really be trapped even if he got an f4. Ray Robson? Oh, he loves being in time pressure. Hal Robson. Who the hell is Robson? Who the hell is Hal Robson? Ray Robson is one of those guys who got really strong just as I left the country. I'm in the United States now, but I actually reside in Budapest, Hungary. And Robson started to come up right about the time when I left in 2004. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe I saw him. I saw him in some tournaments. I guess it was a little bit later, like 2006. But I never played him or really knew him or anything like that. I love the way that black plays. Seems really strong. Knight c4 or knight e4. It is possible. No, I don't want to play bishop d6. Arsenal fan, you're familiar with American chess players. You don't even live in this country. Like, Ray Robson isn't like a world famous grandmaster. I mean, he's one of the better, you know, younger generation American players, but he's not even that young anymore. It's impressive that you know even the name. So we're going to get to an endgame where I have a tiny, tiny edge. Oh, he played in U.S. Championship. Okay. Yeah, of course. Black's play is like basically flawless. He couldn't play this any better, I don't think. The opening just wouldn't allow it. It's about the best he could do with the position physically. He plays against Naka sometimes online. I mean, I just saw him at one or two tournaments when I came back in the United States in like 2006, maybe 2005, 2006. Never played him. I never even spoke to him. He wasn't that strong back then. He was just getting strong. But there's so many players that I didn't even know. So this is basically the best that Black can do. It's like Gillette. The best a man can get. Flawless play by Black. And still he's slightly worse. But this kind of endgame, I think that White has only a very small edge. And, you know, it comes down to who's the better endgame player. White has a very small edge. I could consider f4. I'm not sure if I should play it, though. Let's mobilize. I want to improve my king. Oh yeah, this is a tough ending by any stretch. Try to improve the position like little by little. The bird started outside. The bird that made me drop a piece against Arsenal fan. You hear that, Arsenal fan? Your friend. It's Arsenal's buddy. Buddy bird. What's my rook doing here anyway? This knight wants to get active. Wow, knight a4. Gotta preempt him. Quite the positional player. He seems a little bit strong for 1800, but maybe I'm just not getting him in the right kind of position. Simul game against me was excellent too. Alright guys, I've got half an hour left, 35 minutes, so we've got time for a couple more challenges. Am I familiar with Edmar Mednes? Yeah, I have a great book, in fact, right here, which I recommend. This is called From the Middle Game into the End Game. Mednes didn't write that many books, but he wrote a few, and that book is very useful. But he has another smaller one called From the Opening into the Endgame, which is interesting. Gives examples where you transfer directly from the opening into the endgame. Duh. You figured that out already, guys. I know. Probing for weaknesses. I don't have this book, Practical Endgame Lessons. I'm not sure I know it. I'm sure that it's decent, though. Edmis was... Edmis. That's his short form. Edmis was known for being like a really scientific, kind of diligent player. I really like the way that Black is playing this. But knight b4 might be a little problematic. Seems really strong. Positional. Edmis. He was originally, I mean, you know, the name, I guess, is like Latvian. I don't know if he was born in Latvia or he just was Latvian. I never met him, Edmis. And Marmenis basically stopped playing chess actively right about the time when I started in the very early 80s. So I started playing tournaments in 1985, and Edmis basically quit right around the same time actively playing in tournaments. Look at this move. Kind of killed his knight. I'm not sure if it's enough, though. I thought maybe he could trade rooks and play rook e3 there. Now the game is much more convoluted. What is my king doing? Neither side playing with the king here. Did rook ce2 force a win of e6? I'm not sure, guys, but for the first time, I'm happy about my position. It was pretty touch and go there for a while, but looks like he's going south. He's got a lot of pawns on the wrong color. I mean, that's a serious problem. not really optimal when I have a dark square bishop. His knight needed to get to like d6 a little faster. Take care, someone on sound. This really should be a pretty straightforward win. Though I might have some trouble breaking out. I don't know if I want to trade that. There could be some free king and pawn game where I can't win. I don't think so. Not here. We'll just play g5. Oh, maybe it is a freak. Maybe it is a freak draw. Oh no. Almost. If I played h4, I think it's a freaking draw. Wow, that's disturbing. I almost played h4. Extremely disturbing. No, h4, g5 is not always winning. It's like not winning at all. In fact, like if I go h4 and I go g5 and he goes h5, you know, it's just a draw. I've actually done that not that long ago in a game, like an idiot. That's like ridiculously easy to do. You just like routinely go h4, g5, my first idea, and it's like h5, forget it. I'm up a pawn and it doesn't matter. Yeah, don't recommend moves. All right, this is a new opponent. He looks pretty strong. 2061. All right, 7 plus 3. Hope he's still here. He's been waiting forever to play. All right, good game. What kind of name is that? It's not a Greek name, is it? We can't have any more Greek players in the stream. I'm sorry. They're all taken. Warnaki said it sounds Indian. It's all Greek to me. Fianchetto King's Indian. Jim says no. Souvlaki. What is souvlaki? Some kind of food, right? Is that Greek? Tasty. Balak Patrick. Could be Hungarian. Not this name. I mean Balak Patrick. I live in Budapest, but I'm in the United States for a few months. It's a roasted meat. I'm getting hungry. Let's not go there. All right, so theory says, survey says, knight g4. I want to play with me. You love Hungary, but are you from Hungary? Magyar vagy? I'm asking him if he's Hungarian. All right. Yes, he is. Okay. Yeah, it's a typical name. He just had the Hungarian Rapid Championships. Actually, one of his namesake finished 4th. Balog Imre. It was like Glidora, Almashi, Zoltan, Sebe Attila, and Balagimre. Hungarian Rapid Championship. Alright. Let's go. B3. This is best move. Probably best move. Guys, we don't have too much time left, so I don't know if I'm going to get to the rest of the challengers. Balik Patrick is a little bit late. Too late to play today. The bird is killing me outside. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, so Damlaki, yeah, this is the way you're supposed to play with white, I guess. But I don't get a piece trapped here. I'm kind of forgetting this. This is something that I studied with a friend of mine to help him prepare for a game. And this is 3 years ago. I don't remember the variations we looked at too well. What was the idea again? 94 right away doesn't seem so good. Bishop d7, f4. Then he has bishop d7, f4 trapping a piece, forcing knight d4. Pawn e5. Something like that's okay for me. So maybe this is okay. But then he'll go knight back and my knight will get trapped. I could always move the knight again if I have to. I know that I have to try to play b5 somehow. You need to get this break. But I'm out of book now. b3 is definitely a good move. I've probably played this position with white and never with black. Not a5. Maybe rook b8. Rook b8, f4, knight d4. That's kind of freaking me out. Probably not that bad for me. Rook b8, f4, knight d4, pawn e5. I can move my knight anywhere. Yeah, that's bad for white. So we'll try this. Rook b8. It's the Chinese dragon. Trying to stay flexible and play for b5. And not take away my knight's retreat square by going bishop d7. Obviously white is safe and it's a very solid line. I mean, this is really, with the position you have after move 8, this is like the most common position in the symmetrical English period. I've literally played this with white like a million times. Hey guys, stay civil. What? I don't understand. I don't mind if people suggest moves, just not like moves that are relevant at that moment, you know? We have a moderator here, so he'll take care of that. We don't need to be like vigilantes. We don't need any vigilantes. That just increases the tension. Increasing the tension. That's what white's doing, actually. Queen a5. Vigilantes. Stream vigilante. How bad is bishop d7 actually? Why am I so against that? Oh, because he can go knight e2. But maybe it's not that big a deal. Knight d4, pawn d4, knight c6. I'm not happy about that. Alright. Purple Dragoons, you need to step off now. You're being a little too aggressive here. A lot of people who have been members of my chat for a long time. What are you talking about, dude? The horses? The horses. I'm gonna run out of time soon. Alright, whatever. We'll just play something. This isn't great. It's not really what I wanted to do. But I'm gonna lose on time if I don't do something. It's just better for white, actually. It's perfect for white. I would play this position myself, happily. Okay, so d5, knight e5. That's the question, though. Can I get away with this? Getting in b5. How bad is this? The fact that white has a space advantage? We're trying to get in b5. All our money's on that. I don't really want to trade Dark Square Bishop's Arsenal. Maybe if the queens are off the board, I would feel better about that. Memo. I guess this is Memo 200. I'm assuming, because I knew everybody, pretty much everyone else. Maybe not, though. Memo, is this you? Dom Lucky? I don't feel like I played this right, because we're a little bit passive, but we're trying to get in b5. I've only ever played this variation once in my life. Yeah, he blundered tactically. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Shit, no, he didn't. Queen b6 check. He has rook f2. Yeah, that's an easy blunder to make. So I have to retreat. Just accept it and move on. That was my original plan anyway. I'm not going to freak out about it. Jim, thanks for the donation. No tension in the stream, guys. Uber driver. Be nice to each other. And me. I can play b5 no matter what. Even a4 b5 is good. Is white overextended? Could he possibly... Yeah, that's a good... Well, it's an interesting move. We got to do it. That was our whole game right there. Getting in this move. I'm not saying... Yeah, I thought about trying Uber Eats. We'll call up Uber. I'm not saying we're like winning, but at least you get in b5, you have a game. The point is queen b6 check defends b5. White has space to compensate for his inferior pawn structure. And white has three islands. Arsenal like c5. You're probably right. b4 is possible. Then I go knight b6, knight c4. So When I'm white here, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I think it's harder to play with a space advantage and time pressure in a hedgehog, in a hippo, any kind of Marazzi. Very difficult for me to play when I'm the guy with the space advantage, actually. This looks like a good move, though. Addressing Arsenal's earlier question about how do you feel about trading dark square bishops? There's knight d6. Wow, I played that fast. I gotta keep his rook off of c6 or try to. Try to. I'm trading pieces. Trading pieces is the plan. Though in the endgame, he could even have a passed pawn, so it's double-edged. Not all endgames are automatically good for me, because I have less pawn islands. But at least it takes away the possibility of me getting mated or something by his active pieces. Guys, looks like we're going to have time for one more game. Something like that. Save a dog. And Bob, so we got to take the subscriber challenges. Subscribers who have yet to play. Save a dog would be next. You're late, Bob. I probably should have taken that challenge here. I didn't see Save a Dog was in there. Sorry, Save a Dog. Okay, file it down. This file is important. Wait a minute. Can I play bishop takes d5? Winning a pawn? Am I being too materialistic? Still. Pawn is pawn. Insufficient compensation for the sacrificed pawn. There might be a little bit of compensation. Obviously. He also has to watch that, though. The a2 pawn looks awful. It's a major liability. My bishop is also really difficult for him to deal with. What's my next move, though? Right. The knight is nasty. Stay away, Mr. Knight. Yeah, he's lost too many pawns. Alright, thank you for the game, sir. So I'm going to take the subscriber challenge, the Save a Dog. And other guys, this might be the last one for today, I think. Save Dog's very tough. Uber driver didn't make it in time. We could have the same opening, actually. Let's play the same position with colors reversed. This is a different. He does. Okay, it's funny. I like playing d4 first to kind of cut down on black's options rather than castle automatically. Maybe he will. Knight c2. That's a rare move, probably. The main line is actually knight d4. You're making me hungry, Uber driver. You gotta stop. Okay, so queen b6 is a different line. This is much more infrequently seen. Queen a5 had a lot of trending in the last like 5 or 6 years. That became something of a known entity, theoretically. Is bishop e3 a move? Very rarely. I think that it's an idea, you know, that could exist. Arsenal could exist. But white would normally get hit by knight to g4. So in order to make bishop e3 work, I've actually played h3 in this position. But if you look on Opening Explorer, it's got some problems because there's some variation where it ends up like queen c8 will attack both h3 and c4 at the same time or something weird like that. I've literally looked at playing h3 to prepare a setup based on bishop e3. But it's not really workable. You do see that in the King's Indian fianchetto variations. There are some lines where that idea is used, though. a5. I don't like a5. I like a6. Like we saw last game, b5 breaking out. In the Dragon, yeah. I mean, a5, you do it in the Marazzi too, but not... I mean, I guess it's playable. I think that it weakens b5 a lot. You know, it might be not that bad. But I think very inflexible here. So it's similar to my last game, but... I remember I had a game with a Vietnamese IM where he played something like bishop d7, rook f c8, rook b8, and queen a7. In basically the same exact position, we agreed to a draw. It was kind of a weird setup with the queen on a7. I thought that was just kind of bizarre, but I couldn't really see anything great for white. I think it was like the last round of a tournament or something where I wasn't that motivated to play. So draw was okay. Bishop d7. So again, like very, very similar to last game. Rook f c8. And that'll give the queen the option to come back to d8 as well. This prophylactic move h3. Maybe I should play that instead of rook c1 actually. He might be able to use this square at some point. Very standard move in this type of position to play h3. I don't remember if... Well, my opponent didn't have time. I played knight g4. Last game, I played knight g4 before he had the time to play h3. He did play h3 later. But the idea would be, you know, to keep black restrained, not give him that option. This looks like a definitely weird move. But, I mean, maybe there's nothing I can do. I can play knight d5, and then he just, like, plays queen back to d8. And actually does nothing. That's weird. Knight d5, queen d8. And there's no follow-up. Funny. And he just ends up, like, threatening to trade my pieces. But I don't think this is a good square for the black queen. You know, of course, there's like bizarre moves I could play, like knight b5, but it's not good. This just in the long run is going to lose him time. He's going to move the queen. He's going to have to move the queen like a third time when he goes rook c8, queen back to d8 ultimately. Even the Vietnamese master's plan of queen a7. I think his name was Duang. I don't know how you pronounce it. Probably incorrect. D-U-A-N-G. How is that pronounced, Vietnamese? Name in English, not sure. Probably something completely different. Wang or something like that. I don't know. Rook a b8. All right, knight d5 again. Queen d8 is okay. So what do we do? Overprotect. Good prophylactic move. He's trying to do what I did last game to play b5. He can't do that with the queen on c7. Guys, last game for today. Thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with me. And the donations from Jim, Bill, Warnaki, and Ben Pump, who I didn't notice, sent in one bit. Thanks, guys. You can also make a donation via PayPal or streaming donations on Streamlabs PayPal. If you click on the Panda GIF under the stream, push the majority pawns. It's not that easy to do that in practice, Purple Dragoons. It's like a kind of theoretical idea, but not that easy. You saw last game. I mean, my opponent played f4 at one point, but it also has ramifications, you know, in the sense that it weakens his kingside. One has to be very careful about overextending oneself in positions like this. Again, knight d5 looks good, but he just simply plays queen d8, and the extra tempo doesn't really matter a whole lot in this position. One has to be very, very careful. I mean, I don't know, you know, what to do. I don't see anything special. Probably develop my queen. I want to prevent b5 or discourage b5, like last opponent was attempting. You know, maybe knight e2, knight f4 is a plan that I've seen. I actually was worried my last opponent might do that at one point, but here, I think if knight e2, he just can play b5, believe it or not. Of course, if queen e2, I take that square away. Knight e2, b5, it looks crazy to do that, though. The idea would try to sit a knight on d5, you know, unopposed. Knight d5 looks good, just queen d8, and then I have no follow-up. Queen d2, perhaps, kind of waiting move. Queen d2 or queen e2. Queen e2 takes away my knight's retreat square. This is like a kind of standard closed Sicilian-ish square. Maybe rook fd1. Without committing myself to anything. Queen can get forked, king and queen. You'll occasionally see like a knight f3. Got that square well covered. But it's harder for white because white has the onus on white to do something in this type of position. And I've learned to be very patient. But sometimes it is frustrating. Now knight e2, b5 again. Now he's looking for queen h5. And that actually cuts across. That's a very serious threat. Maybe I'll play queen e2 after all now. Changed my mind. This pawn is hanging. I didn't want him playing queen h5. So Wasero, you raised your... This is a strong move. Basically, Saberdog is executing the plan that I played when I played this position. The one time I played this type of line for black. He's executing the plan like e6. I had a game just like this where I got in b5. And e6 sort of slows white down. a4 I can play. I mean, it's kind of ugly, but it might be playable. Could weaken my position, but it's an option. Dramatic way to try to play a4. I'm not sure this is a great idea, but one way to try to stop b5 or discourage b5. We're getting low of time. Low of time. Getting low of time. Queen b4. Queen b4, queen d1. That's weird. His queen almost gets trapped. Rook c4 sack in exchange. I could have played queen c2 instead. Well, Save a Dog is like 1700 going on 2200, I would say, based on his play. I'm getting tired. Kind of flaking out here. Too much pressure on c4. I have knight a2. Might have been better to try that last move. Basically master level game by black. I would say it's master level. The level that I played in a 3-hour, no, like a 5-hour tournament game with black. What he's doing here. It's pretty impressive. I'm just kind of bailing out now. Trying to draw if I can. Though this endgame's a little tricky for both sides. Ooh, I don't want to drop a pawn. But it's like, I've said this 100 times, Save Dog plays like sometimes like he's a master. This again, another example. Here I could take, but alright. Probably a theoretical draw, not an easy draw. This isn't winning for black. It's a standard endgame. His pawn, his best pawn would be like a B pawn. Even that's not sure what the best pawn is. It's got really good endgame technique. Interesting move. Now my king is too good. He blew it. But again, it's a really tough endgame. I mean, I don't think that any grandmaster would be able to tell you ironclad like is a win or a draw. I guess it's probably a draw. Check out this game analysis board. He wasted some tempi, but he found the right plan. I mean, I don't think that black made any mistakes except for the tempo he lost with the move queen c7 in the whole game. It says he made 2 inaccuracy. Okay, at the end, he made a bad move, like losing that pawn. It was unnecessary to push the pawn to d5. Pushing the pawn to d5 was a blunder. I mean, clearly, like move 35. The engine actually thought I was better at one point. Wow. After ab5, I was winning at one point. So I missed some sort of insane tactic. Oh my god, I trapped his queen. That is insane. Wow. Trap the queen with knight b5, ab5, sorry, knight b5, ab5, bishop c3, and queen a1, and rook a1. Did not see that, guys. Nice. But a really solid effort by black. I mean, that's impossible to see. 20 cent upon loss by both sides. Good game. Okay, guys, that's it. We'll see you later, ladies and gentlemen. Next stream will be tomorrow. Rapid tournament. Mr. Coffee, thanks for helping. Hello. Hello. Hey. We'll be back tomorrow. Ponda Arena. 7 plus 3. Rapid tournament. Stream at 5:30. Tournament starting at 5:45. Don't give anyone the password. Alright? See you guys there. Alright. What's up? You got the message. We'll be back. Anyway, guys, good games. It is the Imposter Panda. I will see you all tomorrow. Mr. Coffee, great job, man. Thank you for your help again. Thank God it's not so hot. We'll see you guys. See everybody tomorrow. I'm going to get some dinner. Bye-bye.